What's up, guys? Chaotic Argument back here. My stream wasn't working before. Hopefully, it will be now. Um, let's wait and see. Hopefully, someone will come in and verify it. Alright, Connor is working. I didn't make it. Alright, good. Alright, what I was saying before was I'm probably gonna get my mage to 35, I think was the reasonable amount. It might be difficult, but we'll see. I think my connection's stable right now. Get the hell out of here.
King's
I'm
Honor.
gonna go get my
Safe travels.
XP bonus or boost. I'm watching. It's a rhetorical question, it's not pointed out, but alright. Did I do this yet? Where's Dead Mines? Isn't whatever. Well, I have a headache right now. Was it you?
What do you seek?
Oh man, if only they had the rings in here.
Farewell.
Well met. Farewell.
Just thinking. You got the Burning Crusade gear. Looks like. That was it. What did they go on?
Hail.
Okay, you're useless. There's the manager.
Speak quickly.
Top of every hour.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
For 12 minutes. What do you got, balloons?
Would you like to purchase something? Right. Greetings. Seen you.
Oh man, a shaman. Great. What do you want to do, tank? You got a fuckload of health. I didn't do it. Now you're just. We had another hunter. Ooh, is that up? Huh. I'm still mad about that. I could have easily done it. I hate this boss. Yeah. I think I have one too. And this is end now. Come on. Look over there at the tunnel wall. Oh, it's this one. I forgot.
I need to target something first.
Alright, I won't even be able to hit anything. They got it. I'll just sit here and watch. What is this? Ooh, I want a steamy romance novel. I had a bunch of them. on one of my characters. Which one? I think it was my druid. What was it? Those. They have this for all the professions. Duh. Is there anything useful? Are these useful? Like, I don't even know. Or is it all versatility? Is this for different raid? Yeah, different raid bosses. Okay. So they drop from that boss and they give you the advantage when fighting that boss. So it looks like inscription's pretty fucking useless. Besides the shoulders enchant or inscriptions or whatever that I need. Wait, no. What? What's the difference? Hold on. So this is better than this. Oh, they already left. They're out. Wait, why am I even looking at that? Oh, also my last video, or my last stream that didn't freaking work. I was saying I was 45 away from 100, and I was looking for ideas of what to do when I hit 100. So if any of you guys have any ideas, then mention it. I'll choose whichever one I like the best. Or whichever one has the... Nope, won't do that actually.
Pleased to meet you. Daylight's burning.
I don't even... What do I do? Amazing. Yeah, how about no, Connor? Not doing that. maybe when I hit 1,000,000.
Hey, you have a great day now.
Wait, don't know. I'm just kidding. That's what I was gonna do. Oh my god. Did I didn't. Did I pass on that?
I need a target.
I gotta make a macro with the blazing barriers.
I need to target something first.
Oh my god, I really have a headache. Dude, this she is dying left and right.
Electric justice!
Good.
Interesting. Off and away.
Oh boy. That's it before it goes away. And I'm not gonna be able to use it. Bye. I'm not gonna kick her because she doesn't know how to go through a dungeon. She doesn't know how to go through this dungeon. Yeah, I mean... I wonder what I'm gonna change my things to. I mean, engineering and something else. What's up, Jeremy? Welcome to the stream.
Usurpers! Nomagami is mine! My machines are the future! They'll destroy you all! Explosions! More explosions! I gotta have more explosions!
I was thinking of having it as a transmog, but it's ugly. Lock.
Salutations! You have a great day now.
Yeah, I guess watching me is better than sleeping. Except it isn't. But, you know, your choice. I'll do another one with her. Fuck no, man. Oh, I missed it. Damn.
Hey!
Got a lot of health for a hunter. I was looking at that. I have a final tomorrow, a speech tomorrow, and no, I think that's it. Yeah, back in Canada, you leveled really slowly. I remember that. Now it's like you could burn through everything in a day if you really wanted to. What won't help you? I don't remember what I said.
Any friend of Greymane is a friend of mine. Good day.
Who do I even have in my camp? Yeah, they won't beat him. East. Okay, go on mechanical. East. Here's all you got. Beast, and... Oh, sure.
Oi,
Try it out.
keep your chin up, eh? We've been walled up for far too long. Let the light of the new moon
Little
guide you.
hell. Is that better?
Yo. Hurry back.
What can I do for you?
Oh, versus next round. Or after this dungeon.
I am forsaken. Victory for Sylvanas.
Oh, shit. Can I blink with this?
Archers, attack!
Can I grab it?
Keep firing! Let
No,
none
guess
escape!
not.
Keep firing! Let none escape! Keep firing! Let none escape!
Get out of the fire!
Keep
Get out of the fire!
firing.
Get
Let
out of
none
the
escape.
fire! Standing in the fire! Get out of the fire! Okay, you're dead. Well, what be you, Mr. Macho? Psh. Not you. You gonna take the boss away yourself? Go ahead. No? Okay, didn't think so.
Did you hear something, lad?
Release!
Ah, fresh meat for the dogs.
Attack! Kill them all!
Release the hounds! How dare you! Don't just sit there! Kill them! No! I bleed! But I won't die! What? No! Stop! Obey your master!
I feel like he's the type of kid that's gonna need on that.
Can't hold them back!
The fuck is this shit?
Our sake.
No. Oh, cool. Oh my god, those goes for so much. I'm blatantly surprised nobody needed on it.
Another chance to test my might.
How did that miss?
On your guard.
No, I'm not gonna try and get aggro on me.
By the likes
I need to target something first.
Oh, so close.
I don't have a target.
Do I have that set? I'm not checking right now.
Everything must burn. None shall know the Scarlet Crusades. You too shall be charred. Quash!
Beware.
By fire! Fire. Us. Gone hard.
Come on, take your time. Where's everyone else? She's still making her way. She missed like this entire room.
What is it? Embrace the shadow.
This guy is such a dickhead. Good. Get the fuck out of here. So how are you guys doing? I encourage chat in my chat.
Yes.
That's not good. That's not good. Okay. Fuck. Why are we wiping on this?
I need to target something.
What now?
I don't know. It's too far away.
Please no, take out that group. Oh god.
Endless agony shall be yours as well. No rest for the angry dead. Seek out a vessel and return.
I need to
I'm
target
surprised I already pulled that. Yet I ended up pulling. Wow. Much over here now. Oh, he's an enchanter. Oh dear. Just gonna go this way. One. Ah. Maybe if you weren't wearing leather and intellect. Oh my fucking. Yeah, I remember this dungeon before they completely changed it. I remember there were a four-corner room in there that you came up into here, you went down there, and then boss was in there, please.
I don't have a target.
What's Elysium? Your favorite donjon? Oh, your dungeon. Duh. Yeah, I think it was 34 and 39. I remember the server Nostalgia that Blizzard decided to take down because it was stealing all its customers. Dumbass idea on their part. But I never got around to actually joining it. Does this guy have Righteous Fury on? No. Is that still a thing? That would be so bad on their part if they decided to make a vanilla server after just recently taking one down. Alright, I'm making a macro real quick.
I will break you! Beware.
Really? You decided to come right for me? Fuck you. Oh, because everyone else died. Is this guy after me? God damn it. Alright. No. I know there's another way of doing it. Oh, wait. Sorry, it's been a while since I played this. Is that it? I'll deal with it later. Does it show the tooltip though? Here. Dude, yeah, I think if they put on a vanilla server, I'd probably play that instead of this. Because I hate Mop, I hate Draenor, and I hate Legion. Well, I don't hate Legion, it's like 50-50. No, thanks for totally ignoring me when I asked you a question, Tank. I asked the tank, do you have Righteous Fury? He's like, ready?
I will break you! If you die,
Dude,
beware.
Like, the fucking rogue is taking aggro away from him.
Beware.
You're just gonna sit there and cast Lifesteal?
You are like piece of iron.
I'm sorry, Drain Stole.
To think you've come so far, only to perish here.
Yeah, you're probably
I'll
right
honor
there.
you with clean deaths.
Let's see how quick I take away Zakra. Oh, that was pretty quick. What are you doing? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Take out the left side.
My legend
All right.
begins now! But my legend...
You shall pay for this
I
treachery.
know what's gonna happen. We're all gonna be put into sleep mode. He's gonna come over and kill one of us while we're all asleep. I guess that person's gonna be me. Oh, Gus the healer. Yeah. Good job.
Arise, my
Good job.
champion.
Then it's gonna go. Called it. You know what? Just kill me.
Perfect technique.
This guy's a dumbass.
My blade is peerless.
It's a level, what, 30 dungeon, and we're wiping like 7 times? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah, you got one shot because you're wearing intellect and leather. Come on, man, come on. Now you can do it. All you. No reason to look at the map. We're right here.
My legend begins now!
Yeah, good luck dealing damage to me.
But
I need to
my
target them
legend...
first.
You shall pay for this treachery.
Arise, my champion. Mograine.
Oh, that's great. I missed again. He's like healing myself and taunting. Buddy. Somehow I had more healing than I was from. Okay, I'm not counting that. Why would you beat on that?
What will you require?
Oh, good luck. XP. I wonder if there's a way to show. Guess not. Alright. I want to see if I could beat this guy.
I got a bad feeling.
Pokemon. Bitch. Okay. Holy shit. Dead. No? Dead. Yeah. Faster. Oh, damn. Do I put this back on him? No. Let's bitch slap him. Get back up. Oh, why would I do that? He's gonna die anyways. Right? Wait, increasing. Okay. Okay. Let's try this. Oh my god. A one shot. A one shot. And that leveled me up. Oh, well, I mean, I was almost there anyways. Alright, damage to target in the air. Place barrier 4% damage dealt. No. Why wouldn't they just keep blink or blink and just give it 2 charges? That's dumb. Oh, let's try this.
Ain't you a chipper looking one?
What a shitty package. Let's fight this guy.
Get gabbing or get going. What's your story?
I feel like
We
I
are
should smoke
bound
him.
by a common enemy.
Let's get against him. Hey, nice. Slap him. Oh, didn't see that coming, did you? Oh, fuck you. Ooh, I was hoping that would heal me. Finish him off. Came back from the dead to beat your ass. Is this Alright, we'll just put this on him. Put in the rhino. Right? It was the rhino that's good against mechanics. Oh no, he's good against me. Fuck. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. He's gonna snipe me. Yeah. Oh, right. Take him out. There we go. You're a little hoe. I should have used that. Came back from the grave and fucked him. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware I had it.
We've been walled up for far too long.
The best deals anywhere.
Oh, no, I need that. I don't need any of this shit.
Keep it real.
Wait, what is it? This? Damn, you got a lot of help too. Wow, that's pretty fucking good. I wouldn't want to fuck with this guy. No, this one. Damn it. I need to take a quick drink. You guys got a quest? I'm quest. One, three, two. Wow, that's fucking dumb. That does a lot of damage. Oh, moderate amount of damage. Oh, it's on cooldown. Dirty hippie. Wow, that was way off. Am I just not gonna hit him anymore? What the fuck is this? This is... What is this? Maraudon. Isn't Desolace... No, that's Maraudon. Damn, son. We have no reason to go that way. Please tell me you're not going that way. Okay, fuck you. These guys too? Okay, we'll go for these guys too. No. Yeah, there you go. That's what a monk means. Okay, seems like this guy's retarded too.
I I need to target something first.
Both of them missed. Oh my god. Monk, I'm gonna stab you if you need in that. Good. Why does he automatically target me?
I need a target.
That's okay, they take an hour to get here anyways. I fucked up. Why are all my fucking abilities missing? I forgot they took rid of all the shit you needed to see to replace it with all the shit you don't care about. Can just... Yeah, I don't want this. We're following you. You decide to pick the leader.
I need to target something first. I can't use that. I need a target.
Remind me to make a tank next time I pick a character. Oh my god. See you later, Connor.
You need something? Safe travel.
You guys can totally hear me drinking. Alright, so I need to go to the engineer training up here, and then enchanting? Or tailoring. Tailoring could work.
Pleased to meet you.
Not the same.
You have a great day now.
Greetings. Very good.
Okay. Why is that? Anyways. I don't want to be a miner on this character. I'd rather be a miner on a druid. Because they can go in and out of places like... Anyways, I was saying they can go down, get more, and instantly fly back up and make shit so much easier. What am I doing that through the interface? Let's see here. Fuck. As for enchant, wait, did I say tailor? So tailor.
Life be with you. Go with honor, friend. Well met. Be careful. Of course, I need enchanting. Or enchanting materials. At least they don't have it where it's like, oh, get this, and you can see farther ahead. Because, you know, you've always wanted to do that. Oh, let me put go into queue. That is nice. That's cool too. What the? They made engineering so cool. That's not as cool. That's okay. What's a Reese? Sounds cool though. Oh, these are okay. Goggles. No, that's not one. So I want to go down here. Oh, these are all scopes and stuff. Rough stone. I swear they're like 1,000 gold each. Oh, they're not that bad. Money, well, yeah, I'll just money a bunch of that. Really? Okay. Ooh, you guys get to watch me do profession stuff. Sorry about this. Anyone want to talk in chat? Actually, I'll use the rest of it for first aid. At least I'd finally be able to get that. And that. And that. I already have that. And that. And I already have that. Ooh, fireworks. Oh, should I be a dick to this guy? He's asked me if I'm looking for a guild. Here, I'll take it away, so you guys can see that. Let's see what this guy wants.
Hi, how are you? Off and away.
I know copper bars are mad expensive. This guy's trying too hard. What am I, level 31? Jesus fucking Christ, man. What are they already on? On a different server. Ooh. 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 Who the fuck are you? Hi. Ooh. Oh, it's that person. Duh. Where I gotta go to? Alright, who? You can leave me alone. I've been in this position before. I used to recruit for multiple guilds, and once you find someone that's willing to talk, you can't let them go. What the hell is my F not working? Oh, why do I keep going here? Tailoring, tailoring, tailoring. It's right here.
King's honor, friend. For the Alliance.
How are you?
Can I... Okay.
Safe travels.
Oh, shit. That's typical. I wonder what this guy's gonna be. Is tripping. Really?
Need help?
Hello.
Hey there.
Nobody.
Have a good one.
What do you guys think?
Greetings.
Are they worth my time?
Light bless you.
If it's not for everyone, why'd you pick the name? And if he started, what did he say? A few weeks ago, and he only has 5 people, which are probably his friends.
Good day to you. See you later.
We are helping Bush and Enjoy playing our guildies. No comment. Can you say something? I think 80 is full. Yeah.
See you around.
Oh, why do I keep going there? Well, actually, can I just make silk? Let me put that back over. That's it. Dude, what's up with my F button? Did I use it too many times trying to say fuck? Alright, yep, it's definitely like fucked up. What's up with it?
I don't have a target. I need to target something first.
Silk weave. Yeah, that's what I figured. He said most of his guildies are in real life friends. Shelter. Shelter. Shell. I don't give a flying fuck. 425. Yeah, I'm not paying 6 gold apiece. Thanks, though. $384. Oh, wait. I would need about 1,400 gold in order to reach Maxers. I'm just trying to figure out what's up with my button. Ooh, that's great. Copper ore for 632 gold. What a bargain. Okay. I'm gonna end my stream in about 5 minutes. And okay, great. What else is new? Okay, what the fuck was I looking
What can
for?
I get for you today? Be good. Can I help you? Alrighty then.
Everything requires a painful.
Hi, you're a tall one. Be seeing you. Need assistance? Off and away.
Great, that one's bronze. Alright, so 5 minutes. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, please like, share, sub, comment, do whatever you want. I don't really care. I might stream tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Thanks for watching.